What's up, guys? Lucky Locks here, back with another prediction video. This is going to be for Dana White's Contender Series, Week 1, 2021. I'm super happy Contender Series is back. And the schedule this year, I was looking through there's a lot of really good fighters here. I feel like the talent level is definitely a step up from last year, so I'm really looking forward to these Contender Series events this year, and you gotta love Tuesday fights. So without further ado, let's just get right into the first one on the card. We have 4 fights on this card, and it's going to start with AJ Fletcher and Leonardo Damiani at 170 pounds. So AJ Fletcher comes in here 8-0, undefeated, 7-2 as an amateur. He's finished 7 of his 8 pro wins. Only faced 2 guys with a winning record though, and those records were 10-9 and then 6-3. So that's not, high level stuff, but he's won every fight, right? So, we got to give him a little bit the benefit of the doubt here. He is a pretty powerful guy, seems pretty comfortable on the mat, does make some intelligent transitions, but he's really down there with lower level guys, so it's kind of hard to gauge really how good he is there. And with his wrestling and stuff too, I do think that he probably needs to wrestle to win this. He's a former football player, no prior combat sports training before switching over to MMA. And he's a smart guy. I read that he scored a 31 on his ACT. That's a really good score, man. I believe he has a biology degree from University of Louisiana at Lafayette. If he mixes in the takedowns here, I feel like this is a winnable fight for him. He did look great on the scale yesterday. Damiani, the Italian, comes in 10-2-1. 7 of his 13 fights are against winning records, as opposed to 2 out of 8 for Fletcher. 8 of Damiani's last 9 fights have been against guys with a winning record, so he's been in a lot more high-level fights than Fletcher, and I use that very loosely here. Damiani is older at 31. He's riding a 5-fight win streak right now. Won a split decision over Aaron Khalid on Cage Warriors. Has some power in his hands. Throws a lot of heavy strikes. I think takedown defense could potentially be an issue for him in this fight. He does allow guys to get in on his hips at times. Has a decent get-up game. Defends his head pretty well, but he can be susceptible to low kicks. Kind of has just a boxing style. He wants to walk forward and throw bombs. We've seen him get tired later on in fights, but he's a built guy and expends a lot of energy. It gets easier and easier to get in on his hips as the fight goes on. Not necessarily a bad grappler, but that's not his strength. That's not really what he wants to do to win a fight. So I am going to pick Fletcher here, actually. I think Fletcher can get in on Damiani's hips and get him down. A lot of people are on Fletcher here. I wish I was that confident, but I'm just not. This will be the toughest fight of his career so far, and this will show us if he's for real or not. I think that, I'm going to lean towards Fletcher, but like I said, it's just not a confident pick. A lot of people like Fletcher a lot here, and I'm just not as confident as the field seems to be, but I do see a way for him to get a win in this one, so I guess I'll go with Fletcher here. That's going to bring us to the second fight of the night, and this is going to be between Victor Altamirano, and he is fighting Carlos Candelario at 125 pounds. So Victor Altamirano comes in 9-1. He will be taller and longer in this spot. He is the current LFA flyweight champion. He is 9-0 in the LFA promotion. Every single one of his pro wins coming in LFA. His only loss was Jared Brooks, who had 4 UFC bouts under his belt at the time, including Davis and Figueiredo. Brooks is currently 16-2. His last fight was a win on Bellator. Altamirano works nice leg kicks. He's a BJJ brown belt, active off his back, threatens with subs. The thing is, he's a little too comfortable to be on his back at times. Obviously, he doesn't feel threatened there, but it just isn't a good look for the judges, especially in a 3-round fight. He's very good standing as well. Not overwhelming pressure, but good distance control, good range strikes. Snaps out the jab to find his range. Loves to kick the body and legs. I think those are going to be big for him in this fight for keeping the distance. Candelario will want to be inside. He has a nice sharp left cross, which sometimes follows that jab. This is Altamirano I'm talking about. Nice body kicks out of the southpaw stance. Able to get Nate Smith down 2 times, who's a great wrestler. That was in his last fight for the LFA belt. Overall, I just like what I see out of Altamirano. He's a very solid fighter. Just has the skills to compete anywhere. Carlos Candelario is undefeated at 8-0. BJJ brown belt as well, former amateur boxing champion, fought in August for the first time since 2017 when he beat Ronaldo Candido on Contender Series, actually, despite being taken down 8 times in that fight. Every time he got to his feet, he poured on the pressure striking. Last fight was a pretty low-level guy on CES who was 5-4 at the time, a guy who Candelario actually already finished in 2017. This time it went the distance. Yeah, Candelario has good boxing. He has good footwork. He's going to be slightly smaller here. He will mix in some takedowns occasionally. Had trouble holding his last opponent down. Victor will be harder to hold down in my opinion, but sometimes Victor doesn't mind working with a closed guard off of his back. He needs to close the distance on Altamirano here and use his boxing and close to get a win in my opinion. I am going to pick... I see a lot of people on Candelario here. I am going to pick Victor Altamirano. I like Victor to get it done. He's been much more active. He started his pro career at the same time that Candelario started his layoff pretty much. Victor has fought 10 times from December 2017 on, and Carlos has fought once. Victor Altamirano was the LFA champ, building up so much momentum towards this moment. I will say that earlier when this line was like minus 500 for Altamirano, I can't even begin to tell you how bad of a line that is. Victor Altamirano is nowhere near minus 500 here, but I do think that he will be able to keep the fight at distance and win a closely contested battle. So I am going to go with Altamirano to win here. Obviously that line has come down quite a bit. If I can check what it's at right at this moment. Let's see. Yeah, so he's around minus 140 to minus 150-ish right now. His average odds are minus 152. So when this was minus 500, that's just a terrible line. Minus 152, I think, is a pretty decent line on Victor Altamirano. Yeah, I think he has the tools to get it done here. I think he's able to keep it at range. I think he's able to work those kicks to the legs and to the body and outpoint Candelario in this one. So my pick is going to be Victor Altamirano, going with the LFA flyweight champ to get it done in Contender Series here and secure a spot in the UFC. Next up, we have another really good matchup. This is just a really good card in general. I'm really looking forward to watching these fights tonight. We have Diego Lopez and Joanderson Brito at 145 pounds. This is a great fight. Lopez is a short notice call up here, but with a very impressive 19-3 record, riding a 7-fight win streak with 5 finishes during that span. He's a very competent striker, has some great grappling too, lots of submissions on his resume. Just submitted 2 former UFC fighters in his last 2 fights. I think that the groundwork is probably his best path to victory in this match. Standing with Joanderson Brito is not something that I would recommend to very many people. Speaking of Joanderson Brito, he was supposed to have an extremely tough matchup in this spot with Hussein Ashkabov, who is a 23-0 Russian. So he's facing another really tough opponent, but he wasn't going to have it easy either way, right? So Brito is 11-2-1 officially on a 10-fight win streak right now, though. He hasn't lost in 6 years, hasn't fought since 2019, whereas Lopez competed in March of this year. Although I will say, prior to that match for Lopez, he also hadn't fought since 2019. And yeah, Brito is a finisher. 10 finishes out of 11 wins, that's a 91% finish rate. Brings very heavy hands and just extreme aggressiveness. It's really fun to watch this guy fight. He comes ready for war, and he could get exposed in the grappling, but he's very physically strong, and he's not a bad grappler per se. I think that he will defend anything where Lopez doesn't really get his hands locked. I feel like Brito's going to be able to defend that just with his physicality. And I'm actually going to go with Brito here. I like the dog in this one because of Brito's aggressiveness and urgency to find a finish. He will be a lot to handle for Lopez on short notice. Brito needs to stuff the takedowns, and if he does, I see him eventually landing his power on Lopez. It could be very close. I have no money on this one. I kind of wish that I took Brito at plus money at this point because the best line you can get him at now is plus 105. A lot of places have him at like minus 110 at a pick'em or minus 1.5. He actually opened as a minus 180 favorite here. Got pushed all the way up to like around minus 140 in some spots, and now his average odds are minus 104 here. Lopez opened up plus 155. He's now down around minus 118. So it's an interesting matchup. I kind of feel like I missed the boat on Brito a bit, but I still really do like him. an aggressive guy who's just going to pour on pressure, and Lopez just needs to get this down because I just don't know if he's going to be able to stand with Brito for 3 rounds. So yeah, I'm going to go with Joanderson Brito to get this one done. Dog pick. Not crazy confident. At dog money, I did kind of like him. Now it's kind of getting to the area where I don't really want to bet it anymore. But from a prediction standpoint, I'm still going to go with Joanderson Brito to get it done in this co-main event. This is going to bring us to the main event of the evening, and this is going to be between Azamat Murzakanov and Mateusz SCHEFFEL. Murzakanov is undefeated at 9-0, 7 finishes, fought on Fight Nights Global and ACB over in Russia. His last 2 fights were on Brave CF. Has a win over UFC fighter Andre Muniz, KO'd him in the first round in under a minute. His last fight was a round 1 knockout over Mohamed Fakhreddin. That was on Brave. And he has some fights in Russian hand-to-hand combat. Beat Ion Kutalaba in that. I saw that on YouTube. He's a multiple-time world champion in that. European champion, 2-time Asian champion, and 6-time Russian national champion. Which is according to a translated Russian website, so I hope that is accurate. But you know, it checks out from the eye test. He's an excellent grappler and striker. He's patient but knows when to pour it on. Very powerful uppercuts, big power in his hands in general. Looks very impressive, honestly. I was very impressed with Murzakanov watching the tape. He does look pretty polished here. Mateusz SCHEFFEL, on the other hand, has a 14-6 record coming off 2 wins on Future FC. That's nice to see. It's a pretty good promotion. His wins haven't been over really high-level guys. In terms of losses, though, he has fought Clidston Abreu in 2012, Rodney Wallace in 2013, and John Allen in 2016. He lost all 3 of those, but that's still, you know, decent guys to have fought and just to get the experience under your belt. He does have some power. I don't think it's the same type of power that Murzakanov is going to bring here, though. SCHEFFEL has some nice kicks. Overall, does look pretty solid. I don't think he's quite on Murzakanov's level, so I'm picking Murzakanov here. I have money on him. I bet him at -275. He's around like -400 to -500 now, I think. Let me just check what the current odds are. So the best price you can get him at is -400. The highest odds you can get him at is lowest, I should say, -515. So yeah, he opened up at -275. That's where I got him. He is now down on average around -460. So obviously lots of money has been coming in on him. I feel like he's a big parlay piece for a lot of people, and I agree with that. I think he is a parlay piece here. I'm going to be going, like I said, with Azamat Murzakanov to get the job done. I really like what I see out of him. I think that he finds a finish here. I believe he has the tools to compete everywhere in this fight, and I think he'll have the advantage anywhere it goes. So give me Azamat Murzakanov, and I think we see him in the UFC sooner than later. So that's going to do it for my Dana White's Contender Series Week 1 picks, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch, takes the time to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day. Best of luck tonight if you choose to bet on the Contender Series, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.